Okay, we are recording to the internet.
Are we recording the tape, though?
Yes, we are live to tape.
Excellent.
Excellent, Smithers.
Excellent, Smithers. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Disney Parks Podcast. My name is Park Hopper John. Joining me across the internet is the lovely and talented Mr. Tony Casanova from Disney by the Numbers. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Kwanzaa. All the other festive events that happen. So we have a great show for you this week. We're going to be talking about, it's the holidays and Christmas, obviously. So we're going to be talking about the Disney fan gift buyer guide. You know, if you have a Disney fan or someone who loves Marvel or Star Wars or any of the combination of those, we are going to give you some great ideas for what you can get them for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you want to do. The holidays, gifts. Let's just kind of blanket statement it.
Right.
So
any entity or property owned by the Disney company, except for ESPN, is included in this buying guide.
Yes, except for ESPN because, they're not going to be Disney. Yeah, they're not going to be a Disney property long from what I understand.
Because those athletes are making enough money and we don't need to buy their stuff.
Correct. Absolutely. But before we do that, we have a couple of little pieces of housekeeping that we'd like to share with you. First of all, if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, please do so. You can go over to DisneyParksPodcast.com and you can click the little icon there and sign up for our newsletter because we don't want you to miss a moment or a piece of information. We share a lot of things in that newsletter that we don't normally share on the blog. We might talk about it on the podcast, but we go a little bit more in depth on some things. Plus, we also have the Blab schedule. We also have some links to some blog posts. We have some really cool things. And we're going to be doing more giveaways and contests. And when you're in the newsletter, you might actually have better chances of winning those contests. So definitely do that. And another thing we'd like to encourage you to do is please, if you're listening to us on Stitcher or Google or wherever, we certainly appreciate that. But we would encourage you to please go over to the iTunes store and log in and find Disney Parks Podcast and give us a review because that helps us out tremendously. And we would love to get as many reviews as we can. It helps the podcast out. And that in turn will help you guys so we can get more information and content to you. So we thank you guys if you've already done it. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? Come on. Hook a brother up. We'd love to have you guys out there. And I think Tony's got one more piece of information that he would like to share.
Yep. And don't forget to, share us with your friends and family if you like what you're hearing and you think you have a friend or family member that might be interested. You could also share us. That also helps. We're out on Stitcher and Player FM and all those kind of, whatever pod catcher you're using. So do that. And also, don't forget to, if you can, go over to patreon.com/Disney Parks Podcast. And if you like what you hear and you like what we're doing, you can help us by participating in, as little as $1 a month up to whatever you feel what the value of this show is to you. We have some great things that we are giving you if you want to contribute on a monthly basis. And if you do so, we will send you some nice swag. So
we
have
got some great stuff.
Got some nice partners out there, and we'll provide you some great things. I highly recommend that you try to get to the T-shirt level because the T-shirts are awesome. I wear them all the time.
Yep.
And if you need a Disney T-shirt collection, and I do. Then I highly recommend that because that's a lot of fun.
Right. That's a great benefit when you get to that level because you get a membership into a super exclusive club that we turn people away because we have to. Yeah. Because we can't open it up to everybody because that would cause some problems for a lot of folks. But we get comments all the time on the shirts, and I'm not wearing one. This is the first time in a few weeks I'm wearing just a generic Mickey Mouse shirt. Tony's wearing one.
Yeah, I'm wearing that.
Yeah, and I'm always wearing. I wore the Donald Duck Christmas
Mm.
the Donald Duck Christmas tree farm last night.
Oh,
Got
yeah.
a lot of compliments. People loved it. And like, where can we go get that shirt? I'm like, you can't.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Robin and Robin, we went to the Christmas party and we were wearing 3 years of the Christmas shirts.
Wow.
So I had on the Mickey Toy Soldier. Miss Robin had on the Donald Christmas Tree Farm. And then Robin had on the Jiminy Christmas. And we went to go see some characters. We went to go see Donald and Scrooge McDuck. And let me tell you, Donald was freaking.
Yeah.
He was having a great time with that shirt. And then Scrooge McDuck was, every time we went to take a picture, Scrooge would put his hand on the Donald picture.
That's funny.
Trying to cover it up. And yeah, it was a lot of good fun interaction. And even we went to see Daisy and Minnie, which were right next to them. They were, freaking out about the shirts,
Right.
And when she saw that it was Mickey on mine, she did the little heart, like she hearts Mickey. Oh, Mickey. So,
Right.
and then she gave me a big hug. So,
Yeah, when we wear the shirts out in public, I think it's really interesting that the cast members,
yeah,
the cast members that really do love Disney, they react so positively about it.
right.
Because it's like, where did you guys get that? Is that an old shirt? I'm like,
Yeah.
no. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to be in that club. So that's our housekeeping, and we've already Tony gave a little bit away about what you did this weekend. Tony and I actually got to venture into the cool kids area, and we got to go check out Club Disney, and that was interesting. It's in the Sunset Showplace.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right next to the Rock and Roller Coaster.
Right.
It's a little difficult to find, but as it becomes more popular, as they add some cooler things to it, I think it's going to become more full. But
I think they're going to put up some signs too. I think that's what they're managing.
Yeah.
They do have one temporary sign in front of Rock and Roller Coaster, but I think they're going to put up some other signs pointing the way. I think they want signs that they can put up and take down or change. So I don't know if they're going to go with digital or paper. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves.
So if you haven't read a blog post or anything about it, what it is a giant multi-use room. So imagine it's like a ballroom, but much cooler, and it's decorated for, a club. It's got a 360-degree wraparound video wall for the upper portion.
High def.
Very high def. It almost looked 3D, like right behind the DJ. They have a big screen, and it looks very... It gives you the impression of 3 dimensions. It's 4K type projection. It's insane. Yeah. And then they had some stations around where you could do painting. It's like a giant a life-size coloring book that you were doing electronically. But and then they had the obligatory dance floor, and they had the DJ, and I think I think the loop is about an hour and 15 minutes, because we were there for a long time. And I heard the same thing after a while. Yeah. Which that's not a big deal. Most people aren't going to stay in there as long as we did.
Well, it's a little bit different because it does a couple things. One is the room introduces itself, as the DJ says. So
every hour on the hour.
So it does the Club Disney thing where the paint splatters and the Club Disney logo comes in and out. It does that. Then they do the classic film clip loop where it runs through all the classic film clips, and depending on the characters, you'll see those different characters dancing up on the wall. So I think those are the 3 main things that it does.
Yeah, and hopefully by the time this podcast comes out, I'll have the article up on www.parkhoppers.com. Yeah. But the coolest thing about it is it also provides 4 really cool features. The first feature is air conditioning.
Right.
When it gets hot, obviously when it gets cooler, it'll probably be warmer. But when it gets really hot in the summer, it's going to be an amazing place to go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It also provides restrooms. Mm-hmm. Its own set of restrooms is very cool. The third thing was for me, and I think Tony, and I know I'm speaking for it, I don't mean to, but
Mm-hmm.
they had seating areas built all around with the faux leather couches that you could kind of configure around as people wanted to sit. And
Mm-hmm.
as you sat there, the music wasn't so loud. It was
Right.
actually, we had a great conversation.
Yeah.
It wasn't super duper loud, so it was really kind of cool. And then the fourth thing was the charging stations.
Yeah.
They had charging stations built in. They already had plugged in cables for the older iPhone, the new iPhone, Droid devices.
Yeah.
It was really kind of
Mini
cool.
USB,
Yeah.
iPhone stuff, Lightning chargers, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So I loved it. I had a good time.
It had food and drink.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They had food and drink.
And we're not just talking like, just snack food. They actually had food. Like you could have a lunch in there kind of food.
Yeah, the price was a little high. The only thing that I really noticed, because it's mini corn dogs, I have to woo, mini corn dogs.
Yeah.
But it was mini corn dogs for like $13.99.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a little steep. But
mm-hmm.
They had, I'm sure they had finger foods and sandwiches and snacky poos. But it was cool. I dug it. I had a good time. The character interactions were great. They had the Fab Five there.
Yeah.
And they were dancing with people and the adults.
So there's two sets of characters. So set number one, let's call it set number one, is Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Pluto.
Right.
And then set number two is Chip and Dale, and then Daisy, Donald.
Right.
So, and we're not talking, like they just came out. They were out for a full 30 minutes and then rotated.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole, the characters go, and the room does its thing for those characters. And then there's a whole introduction, obviously, for Mickey, that's a little bit more than the other characters, obviously.
Right.
But the characters are out there. They'll do stuff. They'll dance with adults. They'll dance with kids. They'll dance with anybody that's out there.
Right.
And I like that. I like because it's not all the time. When you go to these characters, you get the love and shove as an adult. Boom, boom, gone. Right. So I like that there's some interaction.
And they handled it very well. They have handlers out there, but the handlers are dancers, so they're dancing and having a good time. But they're also kind of keeping control. I didn't spend a lot of time watching. Like I wasn't focused on it because I was trying to have some conversation. But I did see the characters spent a lot of time interacting with several people. Mm-hmm. There was one little girl who's in a wheelchair that I think every character that was out spent a lot of time with her, making her, and I don't want to say this and sound incessive, I don't mean to sound incessive, making her feel absolutely normal. There was no difference between her and any other kid. Right. She just happened to be in a wheelchair. Right. And she had a blast, and I didn't see anybody like hogging just for pictures. There were people taking selfies and stuff, but they weren't trying to line up to get the love and shove photos. Yeah. It was a great experience for a first time.
Yeah.
So I definitely will be going back.
I think it was before you had arrived. There's a young, I want to say boy, who is kind of leery about the characters. Right. And, that's normal. So Donald got down on his knees and went over to the kid and was trying to lure him, to come out and dance. And then Daisy came and she got down on her knees too and was, they were trying to, one had one hand, one had the other. They're like trying to lure him, out on the dance floor. And he finally, kind of warmed up to it, and he kind of went out there with them eventually. Nice. So, they broke him from, Mom, and, Mom got some nice pictures of her kid with Daisy and Donald. So
cool. And that's what it's all about.
It worked out good,
I will edit this part out because I don't want this to be out. But one of the things that I caught on the video when they first introduced Mickey, the guy's like, Hey, Nathan, right here. Just walk straight. You got it. I'm like,
What?
I felt like walking up to Mickey Mouse going, "Hey, Nathan, how goes it? High five. High five, Nathan. High 3 or 4."
That is
I
bad.
rewound the video and I'm like, no way. And there's a bell. Hey, Nathan. I'm like, oh,
Wow.
crap.
Wow.
So
You
for
know,
a first
that DJ got beat up later.
yeah, he did. So for a first experience, I had a great time. Did you? I assumed that you had a great time.
Yeah, I would say 1 out of 10. I would probably give it a good solid 8.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
good solid
think
8. I think maybe a little bit. You know, listen, on busy days, there's definitely not going to be enough seating there.
No.
So you know, more seating would be great, but you know, it's a good start. You know, we'll see how long all that fake leather stays there. If it can stand the test of time, will be the other thing. So,
and the other thing to remember is it's not always going to be Club Disney scenario.
True. Club they Disney. Have other things planned for it already.
Right. Club Villain.
Yeah, Club Villain.
And then they'll have it during the special occasions. And I think it'll be configured differently. I think that you had just told me a little bit ago that somebody had like a luncheon in there.
Yeah.
So it really totally is like it's another venue that they could do corporate type events there as well. So it's great. I would probably give it 8 out of 10 as well.
Right.
There's a lot of space in like the courtyard area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could imagine tons of things set up there. I think that's going to be a great opportunity to be used if they do anything even remotely close to like a Star Wars weekend.
Yeah.
If that is ever resuscitated. So anyway, so that was good. What else did you do this weekend?
Yeah, I went to the Four Seasons as a guest of Dining at Disney, Kristen. And it was a little media event. They were showing us this new barista boot camp at the Four Seasons, where they give you, it's for 2 hours from 5 to 7. They had their first one this past weekend, but they have one December 12th, 19th, and 26th. It goes from 5 to 7 p.m. It's at Lickety Split at the Four Seasons. It is $75 per person, and you can make a reservation by calling 407-313-6161. And if you are a coffee lover, I highly, highly, highly recommend doing this. They will teach you how to make a cappuccino, a latte, and then a little specialty drink.
Cool.
And the woman who is the manager of Lickety Split, Allison Buckard, I would like to cut her brain open and take it with me, because this woman is a walking encyclopedia of coffee knowledge.
Wow.
I am telling you, she can tell you caffeine, she can tell you stuff about beans and water and where it comes from and the different countries and the kinds of different, coffee drinks there are, and all this crazy, crazy information about coffee. The machine, just a couple of interesting things. The machine that they use at Lickety Split is manufactured by an Italian company. It is the only one in its existence outside of Italy.
Wow.
Okay. They don't make this machine and ship it. It's made for places in Italy. But the Four Seasons in Orlando is the only one outside of Italy that has one. It is also the price of a mid-sized car.
Wow.
It is, they say, the best machine to make coffee.
I can only imagine what happens if that breaks and they have to get parts.
The price of coffee goes up at Lickety Split.
Yes.
Probably tell you that. The other, they triple filter their water, because obviously the swamp water in Florida is not conducive to making great tasting coffee.
No.
So they triple filter it.
Or anything else, for that matter.
Exactly. It's only good for the toilets, and that's about it.
It's not even good for the toilets, man. Who are you kidding?
Yeah. And every time they make coffee, they fresh grind for that cup. They don't pre-grind anything. It's ground for that cup. They adjust the grinder during the day because, in the morning, your humidity is kind of low. And as the day goes on during the summer, obviously we get more humidity, and then it kind of, so they have to adjust to make sure that they're getting the perfect grind. They want it, the specific kind of texture, not too fine, not too coarse, something right in the middle that's perfect for making.
They want to just right.
They just want a perfect cup of coffee, and it was really fascinating, to do this. This is part of a bigger program at Four Seasons called the Four Seasons Entertainment U or University.
Nice.
They're using the U as in U,
right?
University. Each, I think, Four Seasons is doing something different, but our Four Seasons is doing this barista boot camp, and
that's awesome.
Like I said, if you are into coffee, which I am, you will $75 for a 2-hour program at the Four Seasons. Completely well worth it. I am telling you that right now. Right. So
we'll have to put the contact information in the show notes.
Yeah. Yep, we can do that.
Check that out.
Yep, we can do that. The other thing too is they have their own blend of coffee.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
did not know that.
They they have there's a Four Seasons corporate guy who goes out and decides what beans will be put into this coffee. It's called Umbria, UMBRIA coffee, and it's a third generation Italian coffee roast master that they're getting this coffee from. So. It's good. I had the coffee's. The coffee is always good there, but now I know how they make it. Now I know how to make my own little cappuccino and latte if I need to.
Nice.
I could punch out my Starbucks barista and go, "Let me back there."
Well, it's funny. Buddy. Funny story. Rick and I were in the Rose and Crown last week, and they were pouring a Guinness, and he poured it completely wrong. And I looked at him and I said, "You should go back there and fix it." Because we both did the Guinness thing, and we know how to pour a perfect pint. Right. So yeah, I totally get that. Going back there, and you're not doing it right. Focus.
You're not doing it right.
Outside of going to the studios with you the other day, I went to see the Osborne Lights with 25,000 of my closest friends, and I'm not even kidding. It was great. It was amazing. The show was spectacular. Apparently, because it's the last year, everybody wants to go. I had a very interesting cast interaction. A dude that wasn't working had to let me know that they would take away my selfie stick. I'm like, this isn't a selfie stick, it's a monopod. Yeah, but you have it extended. That's the purpose of a monopod.
Right. Yeah, it has to touch the ground.
It has to touch the ground, so I have to extend it. But not for nothing, I did have it raised up in the air because the guy in front of me had his hands up and I couldn't see it. I'm like, I'm gonna go over you. It was amazing. Then we jumped on the most packed friendship that I've ever been on. Rode over to Epcot, saw the Illuminations Reflections of Earth with the holiday tag. And I will tell you where I was.
You're a brave man going from one disaster to another disaster.
It wasn't so bad at Epcot, but the two things, I was there for work. The two things that were so interesting to me was, one, I'd forgotten about all the special events. Mm-hmm. So as you come from Future World to the end of the promenade, you start going either way around World Showplace. From halfway between the shop and Mexico, all the way through both shops to halfway to Canada, there is no place to stand or sit because they are Illuminations dinner or dessert
party,
the Candlelight Processional guest, and the Fast Pass area. Mm-hmm. So my favorite spot to watch and videotape is in between the two shops facing the American Pavilion.
Right.
Yeah, no.
No.
Nope. So that was the first thing. It was crazy. Totally crazy.
Yeah.
Wasn't an empty table in the entire place.
Yeah, you got to go on the reverse side, Italy.
Yeah.
But that sometimes is taken up for Candlelight Processional reserved space.
Right. So then the second thing was we were right in front of the refreshment port.
Mm-hmm.
So the crowd kind of ended, and then we started like the refreshment port, like right beside Canada. And it kind of veers off and it kind of goes near the water. We found this older couple who were there, and there was space. And I said, all I want to do is stand behind you and put my camera right here. And they were like, oh yeah, no problem. So we did that. What I did know is at the end of Illuminations, where the music's like bum, bum, psh, bum. Okay, you know where I'm at?
Mm-hmm.
I was standing next to the cannon for the ones that shoot out. Did not notice the cannon. So the video is like bum, bum. Luckily, I didn't cuss. I was very proud of myself.
Or crap in your pants. What? Holy!
I can make no guarantees about crapping my pants. I'm just saying. But it was okay. And after it was over, we gave it about 5 or 10 minutes. Packed the camera up and let the crowds kind of disperse. Went out through International Gateway. Walked almost right onto a boat.
Wow.
Yeah, that was great. So I didn't have to worry. So that was pretty much my weekend. Park Hopper Sid turned 40. So she's doing her 40 while 40 races, and we ate at the Boathouse yesterday or lunch at the Boathouse.
Yeah. So what'd you think of the Boathouse?
I've eaten there before.
Yeah.
It was good. Sarah had a good time. It was great. We had a great experience.
Right.
The Boathouse is great, but the thing is the pricing is okay. Oddly enough, we wound up having to shift our reservation. We wound up eating at Fulton's Crab House. So in 2 days, we had both of the seafood options at Disney Springs.
Right.
Comparatively, the Boathouse was great. The atmosphere is what you're paying for, but Fulton's food was fine.
Yeah.
We had some great company with us that showed up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So it was okay.
Yeah. So who showed up at
Shelby
okay.
and the family showed up. Our reservation was I'll edit this. The reservation was at 6:10. They showed up at 10 till 7.
Oh, that's pretty close.
Yeah. And we were just like, heck with it. So we had a seat.
I would have sat down and started eating.
We did. We sat down, we started ordering, and then we got the text they were coming, and then we moved heaven and earth, and we all got to sit together, and it was, it was a good weekend. It was a very interesting weekend. So that's what we did. So that's good. So let's move on to actually what we're going to talk about for the rest of the show. It's the holiday season.
Jingle, jingle bells.
If you've got a Disney fan in your life, sometimes buying for them is difficult. So hopefully Tony and I can take a little bit of the mystery and stress off your plate for you. We've got some ideas, and I'm looking at Tony's list, and it's pretty good. My list is not so great by comparison. But, I'm a nerd, so I would go for nerdy things. But so let's start off in the book world. We're going to look at books that you can get your Disney fan. If you're a Disney fan, love the history, just love getting to know the history of Walt or the parks, books are the way to go. So let's go down the list.
And this hits on those things. If you want to know about Walt Disney or the history of the parks, my list of books will help you do that. I think this is a pretty good list of books that, if you want more knowledge of, those two things, the parks and Walt Disney, I think my list of books will help you do that. And some of them are fun things that you can take in the parks with you. Other ones are good coffee table books, which you'll want to leave at home. Because they're nice coffee table books. And as we go through the list, I'll tell you which ones are which. Obviously, the first book on my list is
best book on the list. The best book on the list
is my book. Go out and get Disney by
absolutely.
the numbers.
That's right.
Go to Amazon.com and go get Disney by the numbers, or come to my website and get Disney by the numbers. I don't care where you get it, just go get it.
Right.
Perfect. Perfect for the stocking. Nice and small, fits right in there. And it's all facts and stuff about perfect book to take to the park kind of book.
Yep.
So that's number one. The second book on my list, I think, is probably one of the best books about Walt Disney, the person.
Yep.
That you'll want to read. If you want soup to nuts on who Walt Disney was, and it really starts from the creation of the Disney company and goes forward. So it's not really a lot of stuff on his childhood, but this really is from the creation of the Disney company until his death. It's done by Neil Gabler, and I saw it on Amazon for $10, and I paid way more than $10 for. I actually have the hardcover book, and I have the audio version, and this is, I think, is a great audio book.
Right. If you're looking for more of the Walt growing up from birth, through Marceline, through St. Louis, back to Marceline, out to wherever he, I probably got the time wrong. Chicago. The best book for that. After you read Neil's book, you definitely want to go out and get Walt Disney: An American Original by Bob Thomas.
Yeah,
that's a great book. And then the other book, since we're on the theme of Walt Disney, there's another great book by a gentleman by the name of Pat Williams, How to Be Like Walt. This comes from more of the leadership development, but he tells a lot of really good stories about Walt as well. Yeah, and then we would be remiss if we didn't talk about The Wisdom of Walt by Jeffrey Barnes.
Yeah, right.
Again, more of a leadership-y book, but tells a lot of great story of Walt and the parks, Disneyland specifically. So, yeah.
The next one on my list, I kind of like the history of Walt and his passion for trains. Yeah. I used to have, model railroad, so I get it. But there's a great book called Walt Disney Railroad by Michael Broggie, who is Broggie's son.
Right.
And I think you can find this. I have a signed copy by Michael, and I think I got mine through the Carolwood Pacific Society. So mine is a signed copy. It's a little bit on the pricey side, even from Amazon. Unsigned, it's $65. I think I paid even a little bit more for his signature for the book. But it's a great book about Walt and Walt's Railroad. And there's a lot of good stories, a lot of good photos in there that are fascinating, of Walt's house and how his railroad was all set up and things like that. So, if you're looking for railroad, you're looking for Disney, you're looking for Disney history, I think it's a good book. The next book I think on my list is a great coffee table book. Right. You should never leave your house. You probably shouldn't even crack the seam on it. This book is awesome. I love the pictures in it, and it's called Poster Art of the Disney Parks. And I think I paid more for mine, but right now it's selling for about $29 on Amazon.
Right.
And this is a nice big coffee table book, and goes back to Disneyland, and even it has Disney World in it too, but it starts at Disneyland and shows you all the different attractions and the original poster art. But it also shows you how they, it's one color, and then how the second color is laid on, how the third color, and how they, laid on the colors to get these vibrant, rich posters.
Is this the one that's also available inside the parks?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, any book that you see inside Walt Disney World, and I don't want you to not necessarily not spend money at Walt Disney World, but always be
you can buy it somewhere else for cheap.
You can usually get it somewhere else for cheap. And I would go ahead and throw this in, and I'll probably say this a couple of times during the entire show, but we're going to have links to all of these products on Disney Parks Podcast. We're going to have a page for the gift buying guide. And then we're going to have a link directly to our Amazon affiliate link. So if you wanted to get some stuff for Christmas, please come to Disney Parks Podcast and go through our Amazon link, because it drops a cookie in there. And what happens is we get a little bit of coin back from Amazon that helps us out. So any of these Amazon things, please find it on the Parks Podcast and get it through there.
The next one is the Imagineering Field Guide to ... So there's one of these for the Magic Kingdom, the Epcot, the studios, Animal Kingdom, Disneyland, and California Adventure. So one for each park. They're nice little thin books that you can put in your back pocket and take with you. They're chock filled with like little facts and little tips and little tricks and hidden Mickey stuff, and why they did this and where's the weenie from this point of view. It's very interesting, Imagineering information. And I think all of these were written by Alex Wright, the Imagineer Alex Wright,
right.
Who's good friends with Jason Grant and Jason Sorrell. Jason Sorrell is no longer with the Disney company, but he's still probably still friends with them. And these, I saw them on Amazon. It's weird because they were all different prices, anywhere from like $8 to $11. I'm like, why are they different prices? Is this park worse than this park? I don't know. So go check those out. The next one is not being published any longer, and it's called The Story of Walt Disney World by Walt Disney World. You can search for this on Amazon, and you're going to have to obviously buy from some third-party seller or somebody that's got a copy. But it's a great book about Walt Disney World back in the 70s. So if you want that historical perspective, you'll want to get this. And same thing with the next one, which is called Walt Disney's Epcot Center, Creating the New World of Tomorrow. This is about $19 from a third-party seller, typically, also out of publication. And the next book, which is very hard to find, it's called Since the World Began, Walt Disney World, The First 25 Years by Jeff Curdy. You can do a little search for that. These three books you can search on Amazon or half.com or some book site to find them.
Right.
The last book is kind of your good – if you want to know about theme parks and you want to be an Imagineer, this book, Designing Disney's Theme Park, The Architecture of Renaissance, is a really good book about the how they built the theme park. For me, when I first went, I wanted to know how they built this whole thing. It seemed like where's every good thing going? Where's everybody going? And where's the people? So this is kind of how they put that whole thing together. Really good book. This is a good coffee table book too, as well. Something that you can toss on your coffee table and leave it there, and everybody that comes to your house will flip through it and learn something new.
Right.
If you're coming to Walt Disney World, I have two books in my guidebook area that I recommend to people. One is the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World, the 2016 version. You can pick whatever year. Obviously, 2016 will have the most up-to-date information, but there's people that collect these. They collect all the different years. Same thing with the Birnbaum books. Right. This is done by Bob Sellinger and Len Testa. It looks like the actual paperback version is selling for about $13 on Amazon this year. The other one that I highly recommend is the Complete Walt Disney World 2016, the Definitive Disney Handbook. This is written by Julie Neal, who's been on the show 3 times and will make another appearance because we're going to have her on to talk about her new one, and her husband, Mike Neal. And this is about $16 on Amazon right now. Completely updated, more pictures than last year. I have a preview copy of the 2016, and we'll get them back on to talk about this new book. I think there's some new things in there that I think she can tell us about. Yep. Yeah. So that's my book list.
All right, so I've got just a couple more ideas to throw out. If you're into the history of Disney, if you're like me, that kind of came into it a little late, that I didn't grow up with Disney. There's eras of Disney that I'm fascinated by. Obviously, I'm fascinated by when Walt and Roy started the studios, but I'm also very fascinated by the Michael Eisner era, the good, the bad. If you're looking for a book that kind of unabashedly peels the curtain back like a Band-Aid off a wound, you definitely want to read Disney War by James B. Stewart. And it does is it tells the story of Michael Eisner coming to power. Roy Disney pulled strings, campaigned for him to be, the CEO. And Frank Wells was brought in to be his partner. And I think every great creative company has a pair like this. Roy and Walt, Frank and Michael. I'm just not really sure who the other person for Bob Iger is currently. But it tells the story of what happened when Michael came to power, the resurrection, almost the awakening of Cinderella, so to speak, or the awakening of Sleeping Beauty, as the movie title goes. But it also talks about what happened after Frank Wells passed away and when Michael was unfettered. And then it actually ends with the naming of Bob Iger as president and CEO, excuse me. So Disney War by James Stewart, it's very fascinating. The other two...
I love that book.
Yeah, it's a great book.
That is also a very good audiobook for the car or long trip.
Yeah. And most of these books are really good. If you're going on a long trip, the two Walt Disney books that we talked about on the very front of this list are very long, like 14 hours.
Yeah.
I think I had one Walt Disney book when I drove up to Ohio, which is a 17-hour trip, and I listened to the whole book in one sitting. So it's pretty cool. The other two suggestions are if you're kind of like me and the old style of Walt Disney cartoons and animation, there's a book by John Baxter called Disney During World War II, How the Walt Disney Studio Contributed to Victory in the War. And again, it's a coffee table book. It's fascinating because it really does show how the military industrial complex invaded the Disney studios and all of the animation, because Disney really did support the war, and that helped keep the studios alive during that period of time, because their overseas markets were closed because of the war. So that's kind of a fascinating book, only in the sense that it's just really gorgeous, really great photos. And then my other suggestion is this: if you have a Disney fan who loves the movies, who loves the animated features, or Pixar, if you have someone who really loves the Pixar books as well, they have a book that comes out for every movie called The Art of. I'm looking in my bookshelf. I've got The Art of WALL-E. And what it does is it takes all the concept art, and they're starting to do it for live action movies now, but all the concept art of like WALL-E, Big Hero 6, Brave, Tangled, Frozen, and pulls them all together in an oversized coffee table book that A, tells the story of the production, and B, it's just really gorgeous to see how the characters transformed from what they started off being rough ideas and sketches through the first, second, third, fourth, fifth iterations, and then they became the characters that we know and love today. If you've got a fan of a specific movie, look for The Art of whatever that movie is, and I'm sure that's going to make them smile.
So. I had a book like that on my list too, The Art of Walt Disney, from Mickey Mouse to Magic Kingdoms. And that's a big ass coffee table book.
It's a Bible.
It's and there is a second edition. So I have first edition and second edition because he did this update. And that's about $50 on Amazon too. So
All right, so we want to get into movies. Movies would be the next thing. So we got books, movies, and collectibles. So let's go ahead and jump into our movie list, buddy.
All right, so obviously, for any person that's ever listened to me talk about anything, it's all about the Toy Story.
Yes.
So, first and foremost is the Toy Story Ultimate Toy Box Collection. It's about 10 discs. There's a lot of good extras that, obviously you get Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Probably if you wait long enough, you'll get Toy Story 4. But
Mm.
right now you get 1 to 3, and then you get a lot of extra goodies stuff in this 10-disc set. It's about $79 on Amazon right now.
Right.
And I really, I had the movies. I probably have 2 or 3 copies of the movies. I bought it because there was a lot of extra things in this Toy Story box collection that was not on any of the previous releases. So I had to buy this because now I got all this extra cool stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great collection.
Yeah. Next on the list, I think everybody should go out and get this. The Sherman Brothers probably wrote a large majority of the music that you listen to, whether it's in the parks or in a Disney movie,
or you grew up with.
It would be the soundtrack to your life, if one would say. And to hear their story, this story is told by 2 of the sons, one from each, Richard and Robert. It's called The Boys, and it's about the Sherman Brothers. You can get this on Amazon. It's about $10, I think, now. Fascinating story. These guys could not be more different and the same at the same time. They were able to collaborate, but really did not get along with each other.
Right.
And that is kind of sad and interesting at the same time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But, the stories that are in here are fascinating. And I really think, if you want to understand a little bit more about Walt and how he used to think, this kind of, leads to that. Because he gave them very little instruction on, go do ... and then would leave, walk out of the room.
Right.
And they were like, what does he want us to do? And then come up with stuff. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. The next movie on the list is an interesting one. It's called Walt Before Mickey. And did you see this, John?
I still have not seen this movie.
Okay.
I've met the guys that did it, but I have not seen the movie.
Right. So this is really everything before Mickey Mouse happened in Walt's life, and the struggles from childhood to the point of Mickey Mouse happened. This is done by a small studio. I think a kind of a shoestring budget type movie. It was in limited release in the movie theaters, but a very interesting movie. And I think if you want to understand the struggles of what it's like to try and be an artist, this is an interesting movie about that. It could have been anybody. It could have been Picasso. It could have been, insert artist here.
Right.
It didn't have to be Walt Disney. It could have been any artist. So I think those struggles of, hey, I want to be an artist, are tough. This movie's real. It's about $15 on Amazon. Another kind of box set collection thing that really kind of got me started with numbers was Modern Marvel's Walt Disney World, which aired on the History Channel. And I think they have one for, each of the parks. And these were great movies of behind the scenes and how do they do things, and how did the park go from 1 park to 4 parks? What is Disney doing with the 47 acres? Yada yada yada. This is now down to about $8 on Amazon.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I paid way more than $8 for my box set. But this is it. I really enjoyed this series, and there's a lot of facts and a lot of information about the parks in that box set. I think everybody will enjoy that. Another one that Disney put out is called Disney Parks: The Secrets, Stories, and Magic Behind the Scenes. And I can tell you, I paid way more than what it's selling for on Amazon as well. This is now
Yeah.
selling on Amazon for $5.
Here's the secret: when it comes out, don't go buy it, dude. Give it 6 months or a year. Then you won't buy it right when it comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, it's gotta.
Yeah. So this is done by obviously the Disney company. So you're going to get their point of view, and they're only going to show you the things behind the scenes that they want you to see. The History Channel is a little bit different. Obviously, they got permission from Disney to do things. Their cameras were only allowed to go where they wanted them to go, but I think they had some unfeathered, unedited things. The Disney version is obviously the Disney version, and it is the cleaned up version of the other. Another good movie to get is it recently aired. It's called The American Experience, Walt Disney. And this is like a combination of Neil Gabler's and PBS and different Disney historians talking about Walt Disney. And this is now selling on Amazon for about $15. And like John said, you probably wait a month or two. This will probably be $10, and probably in 6 months it'll probably be $5, or it'll be airing ad nauseum on PBS.
Yeah, I'm shocked that hasn't been airing over the holidays.
Yeah. So, or for his birthday or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I missed that on his birthday.
Yeah. So this is I enjoyed it. It was on PBS. I saw it on television. I think I still have it saved on my DVR. Maybe I should just try and figure out a way to get it off there and save it. The next thing is, now this will blow your mind. It is the Disney Pixar collection. It is a box set of 17 discs.
Wow.
For $289.
Do you have it yet?
I do not. Because I have all the movies. Why? There are some extra things on here, but I don't know if it's worth the $289.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's the thing. Like one of the things that I want to talk about here in a little bit.
Yeah.
You have all these movies.
Mm-hmm.
Is there enough extra?
Right.
How much more dirt can they dig up to put inside the extras to make it worth purchasing it? That's the one thing about being a fan of a movie company.
Yeah. And here's the thing I learned with Disney. The first release of the movie has almost no extras in it. The 10-year anniversary, finally they'll go, I think they go, oh, enough of the Imagineers are dead. We can now put out some extras because they can't really rebuke the stuff that's in there. Anyway, with Star Wars coming out, there is the Star Wars Complete Saga Episode 1 to Episode 6 on Blu-ray for $90 on Amazon. And I don't know what version of George Lucas Star Wars this is.
Not the original ones.
Not the original one. This is, version 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, I have a VHS collection of these.
Yeah, we do too. We have not the first. We don't have like the very first set, but we have like the next generation. They made a couple little tweaks, but they didn't have all the CGI stuff in there.
Right.
But it's still underneath the land speeder. It looks like somebody took an eraser.
Yeah.
So we still have some of that. But yeah, totally get that. It's worth it to have all of them, especially with the new one coming out.
Yeah. So I'm kind of hesitant to recommend this because I'm sure once the new movie comes out, they're going to go back and read movies. Yeah. They're going to rebox them. They're going to add some other things.
But if you could be smart, go ahead and get this one and then just wait until they do the next 3. And then you'll not only will you have the next 3, but you'll also have, they're doing one every year.
Right.
So you'll have the 3 new ones, and then you'll have the standalone, the Boba Fett, the Han Solo, the whatever the other one is. But yeah, and I'm shocked that you didn't pick the first one on my list. I'm so incredibly shocked. There is a new collection of Walt Disney Animated Studios short films. And basically, it's all the short movies that they've
Right.
put on the front of their movies. It's the entire Walt Disney Animated Studios short film collection. So it's got, you know, the new Frozen one that's got the snow geese on it. It's got the crazy as a horse thing, or whatever
Right.
the new Mickey Mouse thing was.
Yeah.
This sells for $39.99 on DVD, $59.99 on Blu-ray.
Right.
Totally worth it. That I thought would be on your list. The two that I'm shocked are not on your list. They're older. Is they have complete
I have
collections,
both of them.
yeah, of Pixar shorts, volume 1 and 2.
The red one, blue one.
Right. Every
Yeah.
Pixar movie has an incredible short on the front end of it. Plus, if you get volume 1, it has some of the original Pixar shorts, like what's the one with the toy Tin Soldier?
Tin Toy.
Tin Toy. Thank you.
Yeah.
It has Tin Toy on it, which is where the idea for Toy Story came from. So there's a few more really cool ones on the first one, but there's so many great features in the Pixar one. And I have not looked at the notes if the Walt Disney Animation Studios short features collection includes all of the ones from Pixar. But if it doesn't, it's still good to
Yeah, I
have
don't think it
too.
does. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to date myself a little bit here. I have a lot of the Pixar shorts before they put them out in these sets, because they used to release them on iTunes and only on iTunes. And I have a lot of these shorts that I bought via iTunes on my computer before they decided to package them up and sell them in these little DVD Blu-ray sets. So, but yeah, that animation studio, I think I may have to add that to my Amazon wish list.
Yep. And then I have one that and I have two more things. One of them exists already. Well, they both, I guess, exist already. But the first one is the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1. And it's called Avengers Assembled. It's $114 for the Blu-ray. And it's got the first Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, and then the Avengers movie. What I think is interesting, they put the Incredible Hulk movie in there. And this is the one with, I forgot his name. Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, him. Ed Norton.
Ed
Thanks,
Norton.
chat room. Thanks, chat room. Ed Norton. So he's in there. I think it's funny because they kind of consider that canon and they kind of don't. And then the William Hurt is in that movie playing General Ross, and he's coming back in the new Captain America movie. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. Are there good extras on this set? Do you know?
They have a
Because
lot.
Marvel's a little bit more free with the extra
Yes,
than other stuff.
Yes, it's chock full of really great extras. The other one is an Amazon exclusive that is $184. It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 2 collection. And what I loved most about this collection is it has all the discs come in very they're the same artist, but they have different representations of the different Avengers, and it's really amazing. Hang on one second. Thank God we can edit this.
Are you going
Thank
to the link?
God we can. Yeah, the link didn't open the first time, so I was stumbling all over myself, talking like an idiot. I'm clubbing like a baby seal. Yeah, okay. So the Phase 2 is a 13 disc collector set. It's a limited edition 13 disc with the Phase 2 collection. So it's got digital copies of all the Phase 2 films featuring Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, the best Marvel movie, Avengers: Age of Ultron, and it includes Ant-Man. And there's exclusive bonus content disc, which is a 1-to-1 prop replica of the Morag orb. So one of the things that you get is got the orb.
Right.
This is cool. So yeah, it's expensive, but if you've got a Marvel fan out there, this is an exclusive thing that you can only get through Amazon, and it's just gorgeous. The artwork for the discs is incredible. There's also some. I don't want to do any spoilers, but there's also some documents that
Mhm.
come with this that kind of leads you into the next Captain America movie. So that is, those are my, those are my suggestions for, Disney fans for the animated stuff. But then you've got the Marvel people.
Right.
Tony's already talked about Star Wars.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Yeah. If
we've hit.
there, yeah, and if there's a Disney movie that somebody loves, um, and you can find like a diamond or platinum edition of that movie, there's certainly more extras on there. And be careful on Amazon because a lot of the times they will bundle a set together. So you'll get the Blu-ray, the DVD, and a digital copy. You may not want all that or a 3D version. You'll
Right.
get 4 discs, and you may not want the 3D because you don't have 3D in your house. You may not care to have a digital version. So sometimes you just want the Blu-ray movie.
Right.
So
Have
look
to be very
for
cautious.
look for the diamond or the platinum because they certainly have more extras than just the normal release. They may cost a little bit more, but if you're into all those extra things, I know I am. I like to see how they made the movie and all those and that crazy stuff. So
Yeah.
that's for me. But that may not. If you're just buying it for your kids for the car, just go get the cheapest version possible because it's going to get beat up.
Yeah. Get it
So
at Walmart, and it's durable and it
yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So let's talk music, my friend.
Sure. All right. And Greg Abar it does a lot of crazy stuff with the Legacy Collection, and I am telling you, if you want to get music in the best
Of course you. Yep. Right. Right. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I guess you did. That's great. Well, I have two, and I know. Yeah, but you've got a couple things that I would have picked anyway. So I just went ahead and let you take them. My two are really for the nerds out there. The first one is if you loved the best Marvel movie out there, Guardians of the Galaxy, you own the soundtrack because the soundtrack is so integral to the film. When he was writing the film, they had the music playing. He's already working on the next script, and I'm sure the soundtrack will be just as awesome. But a lot of people don't know that Disney Animation also has a new Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy animated series. And they've brought in some of the music, at least to sell. The Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Volume 1 was the name of the soundtrack for the movie. For the animated series, it's called Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Mix Volume 1. So it's music from the TV series. It's $10.99 on CD, but they're offering it for $8.99 on cassette, which is awesome. Yeah, I don't have a cassette player, but it would be right. It would be a great little nerdy gift if you bought. You're going to spend $20 and you could get both. Get them a CD and get them the cassette, and it's just one of those little nerd things. Oh my gosh, probably not. So yeah, I did too. I didn't get it on Amazon. I got it through a Google thing. Yeah, I got through Google. Yeah, yeah, Google was giving it away, so I got it there, and I would have paid for it. No, I don't have a problem paying for it. I'm probably paying for it now. So that's my Marvel. So have to go over to Star Wars, obviously. So Star Wars: The Ultimate Soundtrack Collection, 10 CDs plus one DVD. So I'm sure that there's interviews with John Williams and George Lucas because you cannot have Star Wars without the music. If you took the music of John Williams out of Star Wars, you'd have a pretty decent, okay movie. No offense, you know, but the music is so amazing. Right. That first chord. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Yeah, that first chord is amazing. So here's where it gets a little tricky for this gift suggestion. This doesn't come out until 2016. So you'd have to pre-order it. Right. You have to pre-order it, but there's another interesting twist to it. You could get the CD version for 58.99 on Amazon. 58.99. But if you've got a really music loving fan who still plays records, you could get the entire collection on vinyl for one. I don't know if they're picture discs, but they're still on vinyl. I mean, okay. So the price for that is 199. So here's the thing. Oh, absolutely. So here's the thing for me. When I was a kid, I had before I saw the movies, I had the Star Wars story on vinyl. And what it was is the front and back side told the entire movie, and it was just audio clips from the movie and the music. And I knew it lick for lick. And I can remember picking up the needle and putting it on and hearing that sound that you just don't get with digital anymore. So the vinyl thing kind of speaks to me. I don't have a turntable anymore, and I'm not enough of a music nerd to where I would have one because there's a lot of moving pieces, and I'm just throw it on an iPod and let me go. You know, Yeah. Nice. Yeah, because it's the trend. Right. Yeah. Right. Well, it's supply and demand. I mean, at the time CDs were so expensive, there was a ton of people making vinyl. Well, it's flipped. There's not a lot of people pressing vinyl anymore. So it's an art. It's a dying art form. So those are my music. Those are my music suggestions. And are we ready to move on to collectibles? Okay. Oh, sure. Absolutely. No, you go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead. So we've been doing that. I go first, and you go first, and I follow up. Okay. Oh, Entertainment Earth. Oh. Talking about BB-8. Okay. Why don't you talk about why don't you talk about it? Because I'll just talk about the two things. Hmm. Right. Right. That's where. Are you enjoying it? Yeah. Right. Yeah, the holographic thing is crazy, but I do enjoy that he has the personality buttons. You press a button and he moves around. It could be a she. I've heard a crazy rumor that BB-8 is kind of a female. The BB-8. Well, no, they've come out with a anyway. So yeah, BB-8 has characteristics that they press a button and it does. Backs up and then it shakes and then it kind of gives you a look. Mine currently is laying on its side. It's asleep. It's chilling out. But it's great. Totally worth it. Have you run out the battery yet? Yeah. Right. And to be clear, just so that we're not mistaking you, the BB-8 that you have and that I have is the Spiro version, and the sounds come from the app. There's a Target version that is a little less sophisticated, but the sounds actually come from the Target version. It actually comes from within the BB-8. So tear the crap up out. Yep. Right. 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 Yep. Yep. Right. No, I don't think you can get all of them. There's a crap ton of them, buddy. Doesn't. If it stopped, we would not, we would be unhappy. Yeah. 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 No, I mean, it's called capitalism, buddy. It's never going to stop. Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you're not going to get that much money back. Yeah. So, kind of dovetailing off that, we have friends over at Entertainment Earth, and they're the ones that did the Marvel Avengers Titan series that we gave away about a month or so ago, and we're getting ready to get a Star Wars giveaway that we're going to get here pretty soon. But our friends over at Entertainment Earth is kind of the one-stop shop for everything collectible, from like action figures to exclusive pieces that you can only get from Entertainment Earth, and you can't get them anywhere else. Marvel, Disney, Star Wars to Doctor Who, Walking Dead, things that are outside the Disney universe, so to speak. They also have apparel, mugs, watches, things that would be like stocking stuffers, keychains, those little mini pop figures that you're talking about. The pop vinyls are there. So they have anything collectible pop culture that you can think of, from relatively inexpensive to all the way up to full size. Well, I shouldn't say full size, to large scale busts of characters' heads, or, armor pieces or helmets. They have an incredible assortment of gifts that you can get. It's a little overwhelming when you go to their site, but if you're looking for a gift for Christmas for that Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, or whatever fan, Entertainment Earth is the place to go. And we have a link on the Disney Parks Podcast website, hopefully by the time you hear this, that will take you over there. They're always having great exclusive specials. Their prices are very, very fair. And, they've got some shipping deals too. So definitely want to check that out. It makes it easy. If you have an idea of what you're looking for, you just type in the search bar Stitch, and it'll come up with all the different Stitch things they have, or Star Wars or Marvel, or, whatever you want. So Entertainment Earth is a great one-stop shop. The other one is kind of a personal one. It's a friend of mine who we're going to feature here pretty soon on the podcast. The company is called VintageCoasters.com, and Vintage Coasters specializes in making unique drink coasters with everything from like music, food, movies, TV, and more. But what I love most about what they do over there is theme park maps and theme park posters. They put them on coasters. It's awesome. I've got a set of theme park maps. And I've got a set of theme park, one park per coaster. And then I have another set of 4 that is the old original Magic Kingdom map cut into 4s. And you can put it together and it makes the map. It's awesome. All the coasters are handmade and they're made to order. So you can, their slogan is, you can stop the dreaded water stain. So you can get their coasters. and save the coffee tables of the world. So they're a local company, good guy. I know the guy that does it. And for a limited time, just for the Disney Parks Podcast listeners, you can use special offer code Disney Parks Podcast, and you can get $2 off your order. And we'll have the link in the show notes. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but these coasters really only go for like $20 a set. And the coolest thing, one of the things that he's kind of fallen into is music posters, like classic music posters for like Zeppelin or Tom Petty or the Beatles. He has a set for a lot of those rock stars, so you can get those too. And coasters aren't necessarily something you would think about, but they make great wall art as well. So anytime I can promote a local company and put an offer out there for our fans, I'm down with. So vintagecoasters.com. Again, use the link on the Disney Parks Podcast website, and you can get $2 off. I believe that he can. Yes, you'll have to just contact him. He, yeah, I would say, contact him personally through when you go to the website. It's a Etsy store, and then contact him and then find out what he would need from you. And it might be something where he can just get a really high, high. Oh, geez, what's the word I'm looking for? High def image, and he can use it. But he's got the specs all built out. And this is something that you want. I'd like pictures of my kids. Now, he could probably do that for you. But the things that he has custom made, he's got a brand new set for Star Wars stuff. He's got the icons like the Rebel icon and the Empire icon, and it's just cool. I love that kind of stuff. I don't really use coasters, but they do make really great art pieces, and they're really shipped well. But anyway, so yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Mhm. We should talk about that with him next time we all get together. Yep. So that's yes, you do. So that's kind of our list. Hopefully that helps you guys out for Christmas. That's our gift buying list. Again, all these links that we've talked about and even more are going to be available at the DisneyParksPodcast.com website. And we're going to have links. We're also going to have an Amazon affiliate link that helps us a little bit. And, that's our thoughts. You can always use our hotline, or you can tweet us at Disney Podcaster, or you can find us on Facebook. And you can use our hotline, leave a message. You can email us, and just let us know your thoughts. What do you think would be a great gift to put on a gift list? And we could use it and put it out there for people to use. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're not the end all cure all. We know what we like, and there's probably a bunch of things that we hadn't thought of. Right. 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 Not by a long shot. I've got a couple, or my wife has a couple. Right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Oh, cool. Right. Man bag. The messenger bag. Messenger bag. Purse. Yes. Yes. Yeah, and you look like a really ugly woman. Oh, come on, man. I couldn't resist. That is true. That is true. All right. Send us home, buddy.
Possible format.